New system, new struggles inside the CBC experience.
The GSS teachers has to be confirmed.
If I am stupid, I'm going to ask myself, why is this? But instead, I'm focusing on the goal.
Child should remain at home because they do not have school fees.
Hatukuwa na mwalimu wa junior school, grade 7, hatukuwa na mwalimu junior school. Ni walimu wa primary tu ndio walikuwa wanajikaza.
Kaona EE na imekuwa terminologies ambazo inatukanganisha kidogo.
Since the introduction of CBC in the year 2016, it has faced a lot of challenges as far as implementation is concerned. The Kenya National Union of Teachers argued that there existed a huge gap on the implementation of the curriculum, saying teachers hadn't been trained to administer the CBC. Some teachers also boycotted the CBC training, arguing that they didn't recognize the curriculum, causing the interdiction.
Nobody is above the law. If I, as Magoha, son of Magoha, breaks the law will come for me. So anybody, including our very revered and good teachers, anyone who breaks the law will have to be answerable. So the situation as regards the teachers who are interdicted, they remain interdicted.
Also on the same note, the learner-teacher ratio has also been a challenge since the inception of this curriculum. Although the government has done recruitment of more teachers, this has still turned out as a key challenge. During the official launching of junior school, this challenge stood out as though the government assured Kenyans that all was on course. But on January 2023, when the students joined the junior school, there were few trained JSS teachers. In some schools, the human resource insufficiency was worse as some grade 7 learners only had 5 trained teachers to handle the students. The teachers teaching in junior school raised concerns of them teaching subjects which they were not specialized in during their training, making teaching difficult.
A humanity teacher teaching integrated science that combines chemistry, physics and biology. How do you expect that teacher to deliver?
There is no way you expect an arts teacher to teach mathematics. True. There is no way you expect a science teacher to teach Kiswahili.
All graduates normally train to handle 2 teaching subjects. Either maths and business education, history and theory, or English and literature, and so on and so on. So these teachers have not been trained to handle all the 14 areas which are found in the JSS.
The JSS teachers have also been demanding autonomy from primary schools, arguing that the current system undermines their independence, creates governance challenges and affects service delivery. The JSS teachers who have been under contract has also been crying of low salaries of 17,000 Kenya shillings. Also, they have been complaining of staying long on contract before being employed on permanent and pensionable terms.
The GSS teachers who are senior has to be confirmed because they cannot be sacrificed, yet other people who graduated in the year 2023 July are employed under permanent and pensionable term.
Some schools in marginalized areas have not been lucky enough to fully have CBE experience as they lack basic facilities. In schools in northern Kenya, students have been learning on an empty stomach as they head to an empty classroom where there are no desks. The floor is where they take their lessons as usual. Some classes have a mixture of 2 grades due to lack of classrooms and few teachers left to carry out the burden of teaching all the subjects.
Na vile tumeweka kiwango ya class 1 na class 2, unapata inakuwa kuenda class 3 hakuna darasa lingine ambayo wanaweza kuwa allocated. So unapata wanaenda to the nearest schools tena. Kama tuseme kama Moite ambaye inaweza chukua kitu kama around kitu kama 40 kilometers.
In northeastern, some schools in Isiolo like Matarba Primary and Junior School, for the learners, the education do not begin with books or with technology, but with a long walk through the heat and dust. The class facilities in these schools are in need of attention as they sit on the floor since there are no seats. There are only 3 teachers dedicated to junior school.
Hatukuwa na mwalimu wa junior school, grade 7, hatukuwa na mwalimu junior school. Ni walimu wa primary tu ndio walikuwa wanajikaza, tukamaliza that year. Wakati tuliingia grade 7, grade 8, tukapata walimu wawili, lakini second term moja katolewa. Tulipata changamoto kubwa sana hapo.
Most of the schools in this region, science experiments are drawn on the board, computers are described, and laboratories exist only on textbooks that learners never had. The crisis of inequality has been folding as public schools have been facing inadequate resources as private schools display well-done performances. Many schools in rural areas have been missing amenities like laboratory, although NGCDF have took part in construction of laboratory in some schools.
So unless some schools which are neighboring senior secondary schools, and with that they have to also make good rapport for them to use their facilities. Without that good rapport, they may not be able to access the laboratories in those schools.
In January 2025, parents were met with shortage of books for certain classes, particularly for students transitioning to grade 9.
Kwanza grade 9 hatuna kitabu hata moja, at present hatuna. Ni historia ya kuombaomba tu, na kile unaomba unapewa kopi moja in all the subjects. Kopi moja, hiyo ndio mwalimu anategemea na watoto wanategemea. Hakuna teacher's guide.
The parents have also been complaining that the CBC is too demanding as far as physical involvement is concerned, as well as financial support in buying books and catering of physical activities. 100% transition to grade 10 faced chaos as public schools struggled with financial constraint as poverty continued to burden parents. This came after President William Ruto gave a directive of admission of grade 10 students even if they don't have uniform or fees.
I am directing that no child should remain at home because they do not have school fees. Every child, wawe na school fees, wasiwe na school fees, wawe na uniform.
Even after 1 week extension of reporting of grade 10 learners, close to 200,000 learners had still not reported to school. Some students were forced to hustle so that they can fund their school fees to join grade 10.
Kulingana na hali ya familia, haiwezi kabisa kunichukua hiyo shule kwa sababu imegharimu pesa mingi.
Nilienda shule kuomba lisensi ya mtoto, nimpeleke mahali naweza kulipa kidogo nchi shule za hizi za roko. Walimu wakasema mtoto hawezi waangusha. Hawatawaangusha tu, mtoto amejaribu sana.
On December 2025, many parents were not satisfied with the school placement that was done to students transitioning to grade 10. When the review window was opened, many parents thronged to schools to appeal as though the system was disrupted by the heavy traffic on the system. The parents were citing widespread concerns over placements far from home, a location to what they describe as lower cluster schools.
Mtoto ameitwa Galisa. Hiyo Galisa ni day school. Ndana kulentisha nyumba huko Galisa ni atoke kwa lento aende shule.
Mtoto akiitwa tuseme kama Kitui, Mutito na uko Mboni, uko kaunti ya Makueni, hauna hizo pesa ya kupeleka mtoto huko.
Hakuna hata facilities huko. Mtoto anaenda kufanya nini huko? Mtoto amesali atangwa pate result mpaka leo. Amesali hata hawezi kula. Bado hajakula. Tumekuja kubadilika shule.
When grade 10 results were released, confusion mounted among parents and candidates nationwide over the new grading system. The new competency-based education grading structure, which was built on an 8-level performance scale, left many parents and candidates struggling to interpret what the scores actually meant and how they will impact. What was confusing parents was that the top performance was labeled as EE, that is exceeding expectation, and lowest BE, below expectation.
Kaona EE na imekuwa terminologies ambazo inatukanganisha kidogo kwa vile sisi tumezoea points.
When the child tells us that she has exceeded expectations, at times we get a challenge, we get confused, we don't know what she has achieved because there are no points, there is no grading system, no positioning.
Your exceeding expectations, meeting expectation. Yeah, ni ngumu kuelewa but through their guidance how wanafunzi wanasoma, you can be able to understand more about their grading.
According to the InfoTrack report, the high cost of school fees and uniforms was the main obstacle to achieving 100% transition from junior to senior school. From the desk of Mirror of Nation, my name is Bernard Olo.